You are on ABC Radio Queensland. Susan with you this morning, and we're talking a lot about letters today. What's the best thing that goes into a letter? What's the most meaningful thing that goes into a letter for you? Share it with me, 1300 630 222 or SMS 0487 993 222. When was the last time you actually wrote a letter or received one? I don't mean a bill, I mean a letter. Well, for one of our ABC team in Queensland, he decided he wanted to send a letter to his grandparents but didn't know how. This is what Crispy had to say.
I want to write a letter to my grandparents, but I've never written a letter before and I kind of need some help. I need some tips on how to write a letter properly because I've got some idea, but I need some help. I need some etiquette. I need to know how do you start it? What do you talk about? How do you keep the conversation going after you send the first letter so you get the second letter? How do I put the address on an envelope? I think you're supposed to put something in capitals and you have to put something at the top. I am a big print writer. I also do lots of block capitals as well to really emphasize. So if I want to make something feel like it's bolded, I will block letter write.
The idea that somebody has never written a letter kind of blows my mind. I think I wrote lots as a child. It really did blow my mind. So how do you teach somebody to write a letter properly? Mostly for a loved one or a family member or a friend. Let's ask communications trainer Wendy Demonari here to save the day. Good morning, Wendy.
Good morning, Susan. How are you?
Good, thank you very much. When was the last time you sent or received a letter?
The last time I sent a letter could be possibly 28 years ago. I was overseas. Back then when we travelled, we didn't have mobile phones. There was no internet. So I was writing letters home and received a letter. It could be decades.
I think that's the case for many people. There is an important distinction to make here, though. There's different types of letters.
Absolutely. You've got formal letters and then you've got these informal personal letters as well too.
Yes, lots and lots of different ways. And let's focus on the informal letters because I think we would all like to receive a few more letters. Why do you think letter writing is so special?
I think letter writing, it's special and it's very important as well. It's so personal, particularly if you are writing it with your own hand, which I strongly recommend. It's very personal, so it allows you to apply that little bit of individuality and creativity. It's also timeless as well. It stays as like a cherished keepsake for you. It's a I think, very thoughtful and tangible way to express your emotions and to stay connected across generations.
And I think there's something peaceful in the writing, the handwritten element that you say, because it adds some love. Because for me anyway, I type much faster than what I would handwrite something. So there's a lot of time and thought that goes into handwriting a letter. What other reasons, is it that that letter writing aspect is so important, do you think?
Well, I go back to thinking when I was a teenager, the letters that I used to receive when I was away at boarding school or at university. I received letters from my mother and my grandmother, very occasionally from my dad. But it was he wasn't a big letter writer, but occasionally he would write a letter. I think it strengthens the family bond and your connections with family members. It also allows you to tap into years of wisdom that's there within your family. So if you have a problem, if you've got something you need advice from, then you can tap into that wisdom and that experience of other people.
There's so much love that goes into it, I think.
There is, yeah.
You are on ABC Radio Queensland. Susan with you, and I'm speaking with communications trainer Wendy Demonari from Work Ready NQ about how to craft a letter. So tell us, what are some of the things that we need to write an informal letter?
All right. So if it's going to be an informal letter, the first thing I recommend is that you handwrite it. There is nothing more magical about seeing somebody's handwriting. And handwriting actually, different things happen in your brain, would you believe it or not, when you handwrite as opposed to typing. So handwrite it, don't type or text it. Try to update the person on your life and what's going on. You can start by saying, dear such and such, if it's to your grandmother or grandfather. Dear grandmother, this is what's happening in my life. And ask them about their lives as well. So it's not just all about you, it's finding out about them too. That's establishing that bond and that connection. Include some personal touches if you like. Why not include a photo? What about some lovely little doodles or drawings on the letter itself? What about actually referring to some shared memories that you have with the people that you're speaking to?
Yeah, it's a moment in time. It's a chance to share those memories,
that's
to
right.
say thank you.
Absolutely. You could use that opportunity to thank them. You might even want to talk about future projects, future things that are coming up. Get their advice and opinion on it. Everybody loves to feel important. And you can ask them in a letter, what do you think about this? Express your love and gratitude. This is a wonderful way, in your own words, in your own handwriting, and perhaps you might want to put it on some really fancy paper. I don't know. Why not? People used to write on fancy paper and perfumed
There was a whole
it.
industry, yes.
Oh, yes. Perfume. It depends on who you're writing to, of course.
Yes.
But you could do that.
Yes, exactly. Put a little kiss on it. with
Yes,
lipstick.
yes.
Love letters. Oh, goodness, the memories. Now, Wendy, for somebody who's never had to actually send a letter, what are the rules around addressing your envelope?
Well, believe it or not, Australia Post have a set of guidelines about this, and I took the opportunity to have a look at it. And fortunately, I think I'm doing everything right. So, if you imagine an envelope, and you've got a space for the stamp that's got to be there. If you don't know what a stamp is, ask an older person.
Google it. Yes.
Google it. What is
Google
a
it.
stamp? You really should concentrate on keeping the address right in the centre. I would suggest using block capital letters because cursive writing, not everyone can read it.
And a lot of it's computerised now, so block letters help.
Block letters help. Keep it, you want to have the person's, if it's a business, put the business name first and then the person's name underneath the business name. If not, put the person's name, their address, and then the town. And don't forget to put the postcode as well.
And the state.
Yes, sorry. And don't forget to put your address on the back of the envelope.
Yes, so that if it gets lost, it can find a way. And
Exactly,
the person receiving it
exactly.
knows who sent it as soon as
that's
unless
right.
they smell the perfume first, of course. Wendy Teminari, the communications trainer that we like to chat to from time to time from Work Radio NQ. Thank you very much for sharing with us how to craft a letter.